college football is a pressure cooker unlike any other sport. It's so year to year in regards to what you expect from your team and what you expect from your head coach. I mean, we're already talking about Billy Napier at Florida, and people are saying, well, he's not the right guy. And I'm like, it's been 13 games. Can we all just take a beat? So that got me thinking, which programs do we need to take a closer look at in terms of the pressure that's surrounding them right now? I think there's a couple of spots across the country that are feeling the pressure maybe a little bit more than some of the others. First school that comes to mind is LSU. And you're saying, JD, LSU went to the SEC title game a season ago. What are you talking about? If you were to buy a Christmas present for your wife the very first year y'all are married, you don't buy her a car the very first year. You want to know why? Because every single Christmas after that, it's just going to be a disappointment because you didn't get her a car the next year and the next year and the next year. That's kind of how it feels for me with LSU and Brian Kelly. They won double-digit football games in 2023 and went to the SEC title game in Atlanta against Georgia. Before the year, the over-under win total on them was 7 games. The year before, they won 6 games before Brian Kelly got there. And so what should have happened, if you're using logic, and college football defies logic, and is why we love it, it should have been a slow progression, a slow maturation. Maybe they win 7 games, maybe they win 8 games in year 2 or 3. Maybe they compete for an SEC kind of season they had last year, SEC title kind of season. If they don't play for an SEC title, and if they don't win double-digit games in 2023, I would just say this to LSU fans. Do not freak out. You saw the proof in the pudding. You saw the proof in his process in 2022. Don't freak out, okay? Don't lose your cool if you don't have the kind of year you had in 2022. So I think there's pressure on Brian Kelly now to be, okay, great. The process is already in place. We're sort of ready-made, microwavable, ready to go. This is how it is every single year now under Brian Kelly. Remember, they had 4 games that were decided by 1 score. They were 3-1 in those games. If any number of those games swing a different way, LSU probably isn't playing for an SEC title. All right, still a really good team. You have the right guy at head coach. Your program is fixed at LSU, okay? You're going to win a whole lot of games in the coming years. But if you don't play for an SEC title in 2023, it's okay. You have bought into the process that is Brian Kelly. You got a car their first year for Christmas in the marriage, all right? You got a car year 1. Will you get a car year 2, year 3, year 4? It's asking a lot of anybody in any relationship, especially a head coach and a school like LSU, where they have the resources, they have the access to talent, like Brian Kelly said when he came on this very show. It was appealing for why he went to LSU. But for LSU, a lot of pressure, as it is when you coach in Baton Rouge. But let's all hold our horses just a little bit if things don't go how they did in 2022 and 2023. Make sure you're subscribed to the On3 YouTube channel. We talk college football here every single day. You're a junkie just like us, and we love y'all for it, okay? I say subscribe because it just helps us get a better gauge for the analytics that you want to see, and it helps us do more of that, okay? So thank you. Also, follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram, @JDPakel. You know another school that has a lot of pressure? How about USC and Lincoln Riley? And you're saying the same thing you just told me a second ago of, okay, well, I hear you, JD, but they played for a Pac-12 title, and they played for a New Year's Six Bowl. Before that, they won like 4 games before Lincoln Riley got there. How are you telling me there's pressure on USC? It's not hot seat pressure. It is pressure to make good on your potential you have on your roster right now. Because who do you have on the roster right now at USC? You have a generational talent in Caleb Williams. Generational talents at quarterback don't just come through your door every other day. I don't care how great a quarterback whisperer Lincoln Riley is. He's had some good ones. Caleb Williams, I think, could go down as the best. So here's why there's pressure. You have the quarterback, the once-in-a-generation quarterback in Caleb Williams. Do you have the other pieces to go with him? Because Caleb Williams, in my estimation, is good enough to beat Utah. He's good enough to beat Tulane. The offense put up a bunch of points against Tulane. That wasn't why you lost. The reason why there's pressure on USC is you have 1 more year with Caleb Williams. Do you have a defense to help him out? Do you have an offensive line to support him in 2023 after you lose a couple pieces? There's pressure because when he leaves for the NFL, there is no telling what the future looks like. And I'm not saying they don't have phenomenal talents in that quarterback room. I'm just saying they're unproven. Even if they do land a guy like Dylan Raiola, even if Malachi Nelson is all that we think he could be, it's still not Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams is so good, if you don't support him with the right supporting cast and you don't put it together this year, that window closes because he's gone to the league after this year, okay? That's just the reality. He's gone to the NFL, going to make a whole lot of money. Even the NL is good in USC, I'm pretty sure. I would imagine, based on tracking his social media and seeing the ads he posts and seeing him doing the catwalk at fashion shows, it's not comparing to the NFL money. He's gone after this year. Can you make it happen this year? You can't allow 30 points a game like you did last year. You can't allow 160 rush yards a game like you did last year defensively. Alex Grinch, brother, the ball is in your court. You got 1 year with USC. The time is now. Outside of that, that window closes. A new one probably opens, and you kind of figure out what you want to do forward. I'm not saying Lincoln Riley can't still do everything they want to do at USC, but you have the most important, most difficult piece to acquire at the quarterback position with Caleb Williams. Now, Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley came from Oklahoma. Ironically enough, they're another team that I think has a ton of pressure on them. Another first-year coach. Last season, we got 3 coaches that all just had their first year already having pressure their second year. It's the way college football is, man. The pressure on Oklahoma is very much around optics. Because remember, they leave to the SEC next season. They won 6 games this past year. Went toe-to-toe with a top 10 team in Florida State in their bowl game, but they only won 6 ball games. The concern is if you have another subpar year in 2023, what am I buying into as a recruit? Because Brent Venables, as phenomenal of a coach as he is, he's never been a head coach before this past season. And so if I'm a recruit, I'm saying, okay, you're headed to the SEC, and I have a head coach who, let's say they win 7 games next year. I'm buying into a head coach that won 6 games and then 7 games. Why am I committing to Oklahoma? Now, there's a lot of other reasons to commit to Oklahoma, but I'm just saying with who you have to compete with for some of the top recruits in the country to win how you want to in the SEC, there's a lot of pressure. Now, if they win, let's say, double-digit games, or they go and win a New Year's Six Bowl or whatever it ends up being, then the whole conversation changes. Then you see the trajectory of Brent Venables at Oklahoma. Then you see where this thing is headed. Give me something to buy into if I'm a recruit for you. Give me something to get excited about. Give me some skins on the wall. That's what I need at Oklahoma in 2023. Full transparency, I believe they can do it. I think Brent Venables is about all of the right things. Toughness, culture, physicality on the defensive side of the ball. Like, they're going to get this thing headed the right direction, but in year 2, in 2023, it has to happen now. I need something to buy into on the recruiting trail. So that's what I'm looking at with Oklahoma. Now, the last team I want to talk about is the Michigan State Spartans. Team we haven't talked about a ton on this show, but 2022 for them was kind of like a record scratch year. Because remember, Mel Tucker, they went 11-2 in 2021, got a 10-year, $95 million deal. You felt phenomenal in East Lansing. You're like, okay, the future is bright. Just beat Penn State, just beat Michigan, played in the New Year's Six Bowl. Like, we're rolling now, okay? Tuck coming, baby. And then 2022 comes around, you go 5-7. That's my record scratch sound for those of you that listen on podcasts. It's not okay to go 5-7 after you won 11 games a season ago. You lost Kenneth Walker, you lost some other pieces, but the way in which you lost some of these teams that you had beaten the year before is not okay. Lost to Penn State badly, lost to Michigan badly, lost to Ohio State again badly. There's pressure now on Mel Tucker going into year 4 because he had the COVID year, which still counts, going into year 4 now for Mel Tucker. What are we as a team at Michigan State? Because we just paid you a ton. We felt phenomenal about where we were headed a season ago. We just paid you the bag, and now we're having to sort of gather our bearings, if you will. Like, now we're just sort of confused about what's going on. It's like when you're driving a car on vacation and you're packed, you're stoked about where you're headed, probably a beautiful beachfront property, and you're juiced up about it, and then you get a flat tire on the way there. Car breaks down on the way there, whatever it is. The first thought is, can we fix this? Is this a bump in the road, or is this like, oh no, we made a mistake. We're not getting there. We're not getting to where we want to go. You paid them a lot. You packed your bags. And far be it from me to say that more money for a coach equates to better results. That's not the case. You paid Mel Tucker for the trajectory. The trajectory, after you paid him, is he won 5 games. There's a lot going on at Michigan State. There's a lot more to it than meets the eye. I understand that. I'm not saying you shouldn't have paid him, but I am saying there's a lot of pressure to pick up the pieces and make some things happen in 2023. For those you listening on podcast, I just slapped my notebook across the table here, but the party rolls on. So LSU, USC, Oklahoma, Michigan State, all facing pressure to perform in 2023. It's not hot seat pressure, but it is pressure to get the job done and deliver on some results. It's the beautiful thing of college football, man. Year one, that's great. But year two, we expect something else. We expect some progression. And a lot of year two coaches on this list. And then Mel Tucker from Michigan State heading into year four. That's why we love college football, man. Hey, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.